What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Turn the Jets podcast. I'm your host, Will Parkinson, at Will Pilot on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Obviously, an extremely busy week in Jets land. We had hit pieces, we had a lot of Aaron Rodgers talk, we had documentaries drop, the whole 9 yards. One thing that we have not talked at all about this week is the Jets and Rams playing tomorrow afternoon at MetLife in relatively cold conditions. It should be in the mid 20s tomorrow. So for the Rams, coming West Coast to East Coast for a 1 o'clock kickoff, not ideal for a West Coast team that passes the ball a hell of a lot. I'm just going to talk here for about 10 minutes or so, just do a little bit of a preview of kind of what to watch for tomorrow. Obviously, again, look, the Jets are 4-10. These games obviously only have so much meaning. Obviously, the playoffs are not an option. The Rams are a team that's in pole position to win their division. They're coming in as division leaders in the NFC West, 8-6, coming off a 12-6 win on Thursday Night Football about a week and a half ago in a pretty disgusting game against the 49ers. The Jets obviously coming off that win against Jacksonville, 32-25, which was a fun affair, obviously, for if you're rooting for the Jets, a lot of points, a lot of touchdowns, actually winning a game. They still are 0-7 in games decided by 6 or less points. They won that one by a touchdown. A couple of things to watch and kind of what this game, I guess, does mean. Obviously, again, no playoff implications for the Jets, but obviously, technically, in terms of scheduling for next year, depends where they end up finishing with them in Miami and even New England. It matters for draft pick position, obviously, but it also matters for the most important position in the franchise, and that's the quarterback. And I guess Devontae Adams and a few other guys as well. But, the Jets have done plenty of losing this year, as has been noted a million times. But Aaron Rodgers has looked like a much different player post-bye week, and specifically the last 2 weeks, where not great defenses by any means. And the Jaguars are obviously in a very similar position. The Jets were a very disappointing season, but Rodgers 350 and then almost 300 yards last week. Obviously a couple touchdowns the week prior, a couple last week as well. 40 plus rushing yards. He's moving around. I think he just highest time to throw, in terms of the offensive line playing really well, but also, his ability to buy some time in the pocket. And again, ran for 40 plus last week. How much is it going to mean long term? I don't know, because, this game, Buffalo and Miami upcoming, while I don't think the Jets should solely make a decision and Rodgers should solely make a decision based on just 4 or 5 games, I also do think it's realistic that if he looks really good and continues to look like the way he's looked the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks or so for the next 3 against some really good competition, I have a hard time believing that there's a good shot he's not back here, right? And, whoever the new coach, new GM wouldn't want this guy to be back. And, hey, look, when he was healthy, hey, the Jets were, I don't know, whatever, 2-1 when he was healthy before that. And, they're only 1-3 since, but look at the numbers and, hey, 3-3 with him healthy and the defense, you can start to talk yourself into a lot of different scenarios. I'd like to see him play well because I'd like to see this be a difficult decision. I'd like to see the Jets have to, have some options. And for all intents and purposes, it seems like Rodgers kind of needs the Jets next year. It's hard to find that one home for him. Maybe Tennessee, but even then, I don't know. If you're Tennessee, you're probably drafting somebody or chasing, a younger kind of option, maybe in a Darnold or a Geno or one of those kind of Justin Fields. That's kind of more the ballpark they feel like they'd be in alongside Will Levis, or potentially drafting somebody. The Giants, Raiders, they'll be drafting somebody, got teams like the Panthers and things like that. Those don't make a lot of sense. So outside maybe the Niners, if something crazy happens with Brock Purdy or Matt Stafford or something, he retires and the Rams want to try to do something, feels like the Jets and Rodgers are kind of really the only match. Rodgers has talked all week about he's going to need a little bit of time after the year, and he wants to see how the hiring process goes. And I talked a lot about this on the midweek show, but I think it all comes down to Mike Vrabel or Aaron Glenn or Brian Flores or Liam Cohen or whoever the name is, and Ryan Coden or, name your Mike Greenberg or John Spytek or Mike Borgonzi or Ray Agnew, whoever the GM is, GM, head coach, Jim Nagy, Thomas Dimitroff, whoever it is, making that decision, in unison with whoever the head coach would be, and going from there. And Woody Johnson and Chris Johnson being on board with whatever they decide. Hey, we're willing to pay him. And if Rodgers said he was open to taking a pay cut, which he did, and mentoring a guy, that's great. But it's got to make sense. And again, Jags defense struggles a lot, but this Rams defense is, I think, 22nd in DVOA. From a pass defense perspective, again, West Coast team coming East Coast, division leaders. Jets have obviously struggled this year. They start this game lightly, and the Jets offense looks good. And Rodgers puts up 275 and 2 touchdowns, no picks, and looks good. You're going, wow, okay. Now you're starting to really string some games together. It's starting to look like the guy who's fully healthy and confident in his body again. It's certainly something worth watching. And obviously, again, there's the Devontae Adams of it all. Is he going to continue to produce? I believe 6th in the NFL in receiving yards per game this year, which is pretty damn impressive for a guy who, hey, has he still got it? He certainly does. I'd like to see the Jets get Garrett Wilson involved. He's got a chance to, move in that 1,000-yard mark on the season. Aaron Rodgers going for his 500th career touchdown. He is too shy. So some history potentially to be made on Sunday afternoon. Again, Garrett Wilson, 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons, potentially 3 straight, 80-plus, 90-plus catch seasons. Maybe he can get a couple touchdowns, can get 3 or 4 touchdowns over this, these last, 3 games of the year and get to the double-digit mark. That'd be fantastic. He's a guy who's going to be looking for a contract extension, in the offseason. So a lot to watch there. From a Jets defensive perspective, look, this is going to be a tough matchup. The Rams are a tough matchup for anybody. The Jets are going to be out Michael Carter. The Jets are likely going to be out without Quinnen Williams. They already obviously are, down pieces like Jermaine Johnson on the year. CJ Mosley as well. So it's going to be tough. Does Hassan Reddick have a pulse? Outside the Texans game, we basically haven't seen him, but the Rams are going to throw the ball a ton. Does he have a chance to potentially make some type of impact? I doubt it. That trade has been an absolute disaster. So Will McDonald's got up to 10 sacks. Can he get a couple on the board before the season's end? Sauce Gardner coming off a game in which he had a game-clinching interception, hopefully building the confidence there. Can he nab one off of Stafford and create that big turnover that sets the Jets up? Jalen Mills is out for the season. This means probably more Ashton Davis. Can Ashton Davis, with some valuable reps? He's a guy who, while not a perfect player by any means, has a knack for football. Can he create one of those big turnovers? Kyron Williams is a guy who's fumbled quite a bit. And while he's extremely talented back, has been known to put the ball on the turf. Can somebody punch the ball? Can Quincy Williams punch it out? Can you get someone, from the second level, punch it out? DJ Reed looks like he'll be back. So the Jets will need all hands on deck to stop Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and DeMarcus Robinson as well. So should be a fun one, honestly, on Sunday afternoon. I know, again, this is a game that long-term doesn't mean anything. Technically, no. But again, matters for the quarterback, matters for some of these young guys looking for extensions, some of these veterans that, may or may not be back. Is it big for Morgan Moses to continue to finish the season strong? Does Tyler Conklin finish the season strong? Guys that are free agents, can Breece Hall get going? He obviously has been playing through injury, but hasn't had a 20-carry game all season. The Jets are last in the NFL in rushing attempts. They've thrown the ball a lot. So do they try to lean on the ground game and get physical with the Rams team, again, coming West Coast to East Coast for a 1 o'clock kickoff, 10 o'clock local for them? It'll be a lot to watch there. I expect a lot of points. I'll finish with this. I expect, 38, 30 Rams. I know it's crazy. The Jets can put 30 points back-to-back games. It just feels like the Rams have been in these type of games all year where it's shootouts. The Jets offense has started to look better. I don't see the Jets defense getting enough stops, especially down the injuries and guys they have, not available. So expect a fun one on Sunday afternoon. I expect Rodgers to get, hit his 500th career touchdown, which will be pretty cool to see in person, if that does happen. Lastly, just finish on the Garrett Wilson of it all. There was a lot of conversation the last couple of days because Garrett gave a 30-second answer about, is he thinking about his future, I guess, with the Jets? And he said, not really. I'm just kind of focused on, I love the Jets. I enjoy being here. They believed in me, the whole thing. But I'm not really focused on all that. I don't have a problem with that answer at all. And I think anything that's speculated on either side of the aisle is pretty dumb at this point, to be honest with you, because we don't know who the next head coach is going to be, next general manager, who the quarterback is going to be next year. And Garrett Wilson's going into year 4 next year. And the Jets have an opportunity to pay him and give him, 4 for 136 or whatever it may be, and say, here's the money. We'll get quarterback figured out, but you're getting 170 targets a year. It's a big market. You can make a lot of money, and we're going to get this thing right and X, Y, and Z. Do I think Garrett long-term is going to want to see some type of stable plan at quarterback and head coach? Yeah, for sure. I totally get that. I don't think that's out of the question, but he's also not going to say, oh, yeah, I'm 100% going to be here no matter what, because God forbid down the line it doesn't work. he doesn't want to you don't want to come back to it and have to get, everyone donkey on him for the whole 9 yards. Oh, you said you were going to be here. And secondly, if you're about to enter a negotiation, why would he give up any leverage he has? Because frankly, he doesn't really have much leverage. The Jets have 2 more years of team control. On top of that, another 2 years of the franchise tag. So he's not going anywhere next year. I would be utterly shocked. But I think that the best thing the Jets can do, and I've talked about this before, is try to lock up an extension with him as early as possible. Sit him down with whoever the head coach is. Let's just say it's Mike Vrabel or Liam Cohen, whoever it is. First day, we want to make you the star of our franchise. All those, the whole 9 yards. Put a C on your chest. Do the whole thing. And you get that extension done. And I think Woody Johnson would be motivated to do it. I think that the new GM would be motivated to do it. He's a star player in this league, and I think Garrett would be open to it. So I would take a deep breath on, who's going to be a Texan next year or a Chief? Relax. He's got 4 years of team control left, and the Jets know he's a priority. I wouldn't go too far down that rabbit hole. Obviously, again, should be an exciting one on Sunday. Again, not the matchup I think many of us were hoping for when the schedule came out of like, hey, could this be for the division? Could the Jets be clinching a playoff spot at home? Not going to be the case. Should be a fun one regardless. And a lot of this game will, go forward. And if the offense continues to play well and Rodgers and Devontae and stuff, the conversation and discourse will ratchet up again for another week before the Jets head up to Buffalo and then finish home at Miami. Again, we did a lot of pods this week, all over the Badlands feed, all over the TOJ pod feed. If you guys missed any of that stuff, please check it out. And I'll be back on the feed early next week. Thanks so much, and enjoy everyone's weekend.